Hi grade 4s, today we are going to work through task number 1 of building our own. Hi grade 4s, today we are going to work through task number 1 in building our own lawn mowing business and kind of applying what we know about multiplication and division to a real world scenario. This video will walk you through the questions, the equations, and all that really important math thinking that you'll be needing to do. And of course, at the end, it will have the answers. So with that said, it's really important that you try this first by yourself or with a parent and kind of puzzle through it a little bit. And then you can watch this video to kind of reinforce what you know, to check your answers, or to get help if you are stuck. So if you have not tried the task on your own, I want you to pause this video and go and give it a try, and then come back if you have questions or you are stuck. So to start off, it says, before we start a business, we need to make a plan. We need to start by thinking of a name for our lawn mowing business. I think I'm going to call my business Fisher's Lawn Care. It's my business name. And it says next it's time to write down the estimated expenses and revenue that you'll have. Expenses is like money out and revenue is money in. So what you'll spend versus what you're going to make. It says that we'll be using our dad's lawnmower to mow the lawns, be hauling the lawnmower with your bike and a trailer that your dad built. You will need to buy your own gas. That sounds like an expense to me. We estimate that gas will cost $5 per lawn that you mow, and you are planning to charge $20 per lawn. To figure out what you'll make for the summer, you try out a few different scenarios. Figure out what you could make. I'm going to highlight that. I'm just highlighting the things that I think are important. So figure out what you would make if you mow 3 lawns, 6 lawns, and 10 lawns per week. All right, so now we have this chart here that says scenario 1, 3 lawns per week. All right, so it looks like I'm trying to figure out, I'm going to estimate how much I'm spending and how much I'm making depending on the number of lawns I'm mowing. So I know that it costs $20, or that's how much money I will make, and I will be spending $5. So I would start by actually doing some multiplication, because I have $20 per lawn multiplied by my 3 lawns per week, 20 times 3. And then for my fuel, that would be $5 per lawn times by 3. So 5 times 3 is 15, 20 times 3 is 60. And I'm just going to highlight those a different color. All the answers are going to be highlighted in green, okay? So our lawn, I also can't just put 60. I have to write $60 because otherwise you wouldn't know what it is. Like we always talk about it. Maybe it's potatoes, maybe it's football fields, maybe it's cats. So you need to put the unit. So if I mow 3 lawns per week, I will make $60 and I will spend $15. Now I need to figure out my total profit, which is the revenue, what I make, minus the expenses. So then I would take my revenue, which is $60, minus $15, which equals to $45. Now it says if you mow 3 lawns per week, you will make about $45 in profit per week. So that's how you work through that first question, okay? If you came here because you weren't sure what to do with these questions, now's a good time to pause it. Go do this first scenario 1 that we just did together, and then try scenarios 2 and 3 on your own, okay? I will work through them with you after this, but I want you to use what we did here to see if you can figure it out on your own, okay?
A few moments later.
Let's take a look at scenarios 2 and 3 where we mow 6 lawns per week or we mow 10 lawns per week. Okay, hopefully you tried these out on your own. If not, we'll walk through them again together. But I would prefer if you try this yourself first, okay, grade 4s? This is the same process as before. This time, I am mowing 6 lawns per week. So I'm going to take my lawn mowing fee, which is $20, and times it by 6. Now I know that when I was mowing 3 lawns a week, it was 20 times 3 was 60. So I'm just going to double that, which is $120 that I would be making. And then $5 times 6. 5 times 5 is 25, plus 5 more is $30. And then last, my profit, my revenue, what I made, the 120, minus my expenses, which was 30. And that is $90. So if you mow 6 lawns per week, you will make about $90 in profit per week. Let me just go through. I'm going to highlight those answers so those of you who are just checking in will be able to see all those answers. Next, scenario 3 with 10 lawns per week. So again, my lawn mowing fee is 20 times by 10 lawns. 20 times 10. Well, I know that 10 times 10 is 100, and so 100 times 2 is 200. So 20 times 10 must be $200. That's awesome. But that means I would be spending more money on fuel because 5 times 10 is $50. And then 200 minus 50 for my total profit of $150. Let's look at this last question here. It says, now let's suppose that you mow lawns for 8 weeks this summer. We need to figure out how much money you would make throughout the 8 weeks for each scenario. So these totals, 150, 90, and 45, are just for 1 week. And this question wants us to figure out, okay, if we did this for 8 weeks, how much money would we make? So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go onto a blank page here. I think that's going to be important. So for scenario number 1, with 3 lawns per week, we would make $45 in 1 week, right? So I want you to think for a minute, if you haven't already done this question, what procedure do I need to know or need to do if I'm trying to figure out how much money I would make in 8 weeks? If you guessed multiplication, you are absolutely right. I need to multiply 45 times by 8. So what we're going to do is I'm going to write that equation down. $45 per week times by 8 weeks equals question mark. We don't know yet. So there's a couple different ways you can solve this, and you can use your own strategies. I'm just going to do the one that works best for me, and if it's not the strategy for you, you do a different one, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to break the number 45 into 40 and 5, and do 40 times 8 plus 5 times 8. Now, I know right away that 5 times 8 is 40. So I'm just going to do that because I know it off the top of my head. And then 40 times 8 is kind of tricky for me. I get a little confused when I try to do it. So I'm actually going to break it up even further and go 20 times 8 plus 20 times 8. So I know that 10 times 8 is 80, and 80 doubled is 160. So both of those are 160 plus this 40. So I'm going to write that over here, 160, 160, and 40. And we're going to add those all together, okay? So 6 plus 6 is 12, plus 4 more is 16, 360. 360 what, though? I think that's how much money I would make for 8 weeks. So in scenario 1, we would make $360. Again, that's just one strategy you can use. If you have a different one, feel free to do your own. Now that I've done that one question, I want you to give it a try yourself with those other two and pause the video. If you are already done it and are just checking your work, then we will move on together. Let's look at scenario 2. So this time we are mowing 6 lawns per week, where we will make, let's double check, $90 in profit. Just is double what we made for 3. So there's a couple ways you can do this. My brain immediately tells me, okay, if 3 lawns per week, I make $360, and that would tell me that because 6 is the double of 3, I just need to double 360. So I can do 360 times 2, or I could do this whole process again, and I'm going to show it both ways. So let's start with just 360 times 2. I actually probably would rewrite that as just 360 plus 360, just because that's how my brain works best. So I got $720. Let's see if we get the same answer when we break it down, though, by multiplying 90 times 8. Let's see if we get the same answer. So when I do 90 times 8, I think I'm actually going to round up 90 to 100. Do 100 times 8 is equal to 800. So what I did is I just added a group of 10. And then I need to take that group of 10 away and do 10 times 8 is equal to 80. And then do 800 minus 80 is 720. Wow. 2 ways to do it. I doubled it, or I did multiplication of 90 times 8, and I got the same answer, okay? So that tells me that for scenario 2, I would make $720 mowing 6 lawns per week for 8 weeks. Again, if you have not tried any of these on your own, I want you to pause this video and I want you to try out scenario 3 on your own. If you are just checking your work, let's continue on. This time we are going to do 10 lawns. And we were making, with 10 lawns, $150. You notice how I actually write down all the information that I know so that I kind of can keep track of it. It's on paper and I don't have to hold all this information in my head. I can see right here, I mow 10 lawns and it gives me $150. And then I'm figuring out, okay, 150 times 8 weeks. $150, I should say. So just like before, I'm going to break it down. I'm going to do 100 times 8 plus 50 times 8. 100 times 8, I know super quick is 800, because 8 groups of 100, there would be 800 there, plus 50 times 8. How would I solve 50 times 8? You know what I think I'm going to do? I know that 50 is half of 100. So it has to be half of what I have here, half of 800. So I'm just going to do that. 800 plus 400 is 1,200 or $1,200. Wow. Definitely want to be mowing 10 lawns a week. Let's go add that up here so I don't forget. I'm going to just have it here for a second. You can pause the video here to see the work that I did. Again, you can do it a different way, or you can get the answer in another way of doing multiplication. That's totally fine. But this is how I did it. Then I'm just going to scroll up so you can kind of see my final work for that last question and this page, okay? Whoops, I didn't mean to erase that. There we go. There you go. So there is your work for this week, a review of how to do it, as well as the green highlighted sections are the answers. I hope this helped you get your lawn mowing business started, and I am excited to see if you did this differently. Please, 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 if you have work like this, where you showed your work and you did it in a different way, or even up here where you I wrote 20 times 3 and 5 times 3. I want to see that. So please don't just write the answer. Show your work.